All right, so let's talk about this. In your notebook, you're going to be writing some definitions down today. The first one is observation. So I want you to remember that observations are really just anything that you can taste, touch, feel, smell, or see, right? Those are your senses. In addition, an observation can be made through some sort of tool, such as a telescope or a microscope or a spectrometer that captures different light waves. So this is an observation. And so in our picture from earlier, we could say an observation of that picture was there is a human head sticking out of the water in the street. We're not talking about the gender of the person. We're not talking about why the person is in the water. We are just talking about what we see. There are two types of observations, and we will talk about both in science: quantitative observations and qualitative observations. Quantitative observations are maybe make the best argument. These are numbers that you can collect and observe. And so when we collect data, we are often collecting quantitative observations. Notice that there is the word quant in it. Can you think of other words with the word quant, such as quantity? So these are observations that include numbers and measurements. And so an example would be the plant has 5 petals. The other type of observation is qualitative observation. I would like you to try both of these words out loud. Qualitative observations are observations that use descriptions but no numbers. And so you can notice that the word qualit is in the beginning of this word. And can you think of another word that has that as a beginning? Right, quality. And a quality is a description of something. So an example of this would be the plant is brown. So those are observations. Now, observations are just what we see, taste, touch, smell, or hear, right? But an inference, that's the meaning we make out of that. And our brains automatically do this, and this is what we need to kind of combat in science is automatically making inferences because they are often wrong. So an inference should be a conclusion reached on the basis of evidence and reasoning. You may have heard this before, we call it a claim. And so for that picture from earlier, we did see a human head out of a hole. We might infer, we might infer that the man fell into the hole in the street. We could even go so far as to say he fell into the hole because a car drove by and he needed to get out of the way. If we had evidence for that, that would be a solid inference or claim. So, in conclusion, an observation is what you see, hear, taste, touch, or smell. An inference is the meaning you make of that observation. It is very important that you do not get these two things mixed up. When you are conducting an experiment in science, you are making observations. Based off your observations or evidence, you can make an inference or a claim.